is trying to erase me with lies, with everything I own. He is trying to declare me mentally unstable.
Give me his name.
Welcome back, guys. Trust me, you're going to enjoy this particular story. Stay tuned.
I found out my husband was trying to erase me on a Friday. Not with a gun, not with poison, not with his hands, with paperwork, a signature that looked like mine, a doctor I had never met, and a psychiatric report that said I was unstable, paranoid, dangerous, and unfit to manage my own life. For 6 months I thought my marriage was just going through a rough season. For 6 months I blamed myself for the distance. For 6 months I believed my husband when he told me I was forgetting things, imagining things, overreacting to things. But here, what Caleb didn't know, I had stopped believing him 3 weeks before he tried to lock me away. I had found the hidden bank transfers. I had found the fake medical notes. I had found the woman living in his second apartment in Chicago. And I had found the signed order that would give him control of my company, my house, my daughter, and every dollar my late mother left me. So I did something he never expected. I called the one man I swore I would never call again, a man people in Los Angeles whispered about, a man my husband should have feared before he ever touched my name, Kang Seo-jun, the Korean Mafia Boss who once loved me enough to burn a city down. And when he picked up the phone, I only said 5 words. "He is trying to bury me." Was silence. Then Seo-jun said very softly, "Give me his name." Name is Naomi Pierce, and this is the story of how my husband tried to steal my life in the United States and how the most dangerous man from my past came back to help me take everything from him. Stay with me because what Caleb did was evil, but what Seo-jun did to answer it, that was war. And if you love stories where the quiet woman finally wakes up, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe right now, because this one is not just betrayal. This one is revenge dressed in a black suit. Let's go back to where it all began. To the outside world, my life looked perfect. A white 2-story house in a wealthy suburb outside Boston, a husband with charming dimples and a clean-cut smile, a 10-year-old daughter named Lily who still believed her father was the safest man in the world. And me, Naomi Pierce, founder of Pierce Wellness Group, a company my mother helped me build before cancer took her away. Every Sunday morning Caleb made coffee, every Monday he kissed me before work, every Wednesday he brought home flowers, every Friday he posted pictures of us online with captions like, "My forever woman, my queen, my peace." People loved our marriage, women commented goals, men commented teach us bro. My own friends used to tell me, "Naomi, you got one of the good ones." I believed them. God help me, I believed them, because Caleb was good at wearing goodness like a tailored jacket. But underneath that jacket was a man so empty, so greedy, so patient with his evil, that he didn't just want my money, he wanted my identity. The first crack came on a rainy morning in October. I had just finished dropping Lily at school when I came home and saw Caleb standing in my home office. He froze when I walked in, and I mean froze, not surprised, not casual, caught. His hand was inside the locked drawer beneath my desk, the drawer where I kept my mother's old documents. "Baby," I said slowly, "what are you doing?" Caleb smiled, that soft, beautiful smile that had made me forgive things I should have questioned. "Looking for your passport," he said. "Passport? Yeah, remember, I told you the insurance company needs updated identity records for the business policy." I stared at him. He said it so smoothly, so easily, like he had practiced it in the mirror, but something about his eyes was wrong, too alert, too careful, too ready. "I don't remember that," I said. His smile faded just a little. "There you go again." I blinked. "What does that mean?" He sighed like a tired husband dealing with a difficult wife. "It means you've been forgetting a lot lately, Naomi." I laughed once, not because it was funny, because it was insulting. "I forgot one conversation and now it's a lot." He walked toward me, gentle voice, open hands, fake concern. "It's not just one conversation, baby. You forgot Lily's dentist appointment last week." "No, Caleb, you changed the date and didn't tell me." "You forgot the oven on." "I didn't. You cooked that night." "You misplaced your phone 3 times. Everybody misplaces their phone." Looked at me with pity, and that pity scared me more than anger would have. "I'm just worried about you," he said. There it was, the sentence that would become his weapon. "I'm worried about you, not I'm sorry." "Let's talk." "Maybe I'm wrong." Just concern wrapped around control. I pushed past him and checked the drawer. My passport was there, so were my mother's papers, but something was missing, a blue folder, the one with my company shares, property title copies, and private trust documents. My heart shifted. "Where's the blue folder?" I asked. Caleb frowned. "What blue folder?" "The one that was here." "I don't know, baby." baby. He always called me baby when he was lying. I looked at him, he looked back, and for the first time in 12 years of marriage I felt it, not suspicion, not jealousy, fear. If you already feel that something is wrong with Caleb, don't ignore that feeling. Drop a comment right now and tell me, would you confront him immediately or would you investigate quietly? Because Naomi chose silence, and that silence saved her life. That night I pretended everything was normal. I cooked salmon, helped Lily with homework, listened to Caleb talk about work, laughed when he made a joke, kissed him before bed, then waited. At 1:17 a.m. Caleb's breathing changed, deep, heavy, asleep. I slid out of bed, took his phone from the nightstand and entered his passcode. Lily's birthday, he had never changed it. That arrogance saved me. At first everything looked normal, emails, work messages, football highlights. Then I opened his deleted texts, and there she was, Maya, no last name, just Maya with a red heart. The most recent message was from 11:48 p.m. Maya. Did she sign yet? My blood went cold. Caleb, almost. She's suspicious, but I'm handling it. Maya, you said she'd be committed by November. Committed? I stopped breathing. Caleb, she will be. Dr. Feldman is ready. Once the evaluation is finalized, I can petition for emergency guardianship. Maya, and the company, Caleb, mine. Maya and the house, Caleb, mine. Maya and Lily, Caleb, she'll stay with me. Naomi won't be in a position to fight. My hands went numb. I read the messages again, then again, then again. Because sometimes the mind refuses to accept what the eyes are seeing. Committed, guardianship, company, house, Lily. He wasn't leaving me. He wasn't cheating and planning divorce. He was building a legal cage and preparing to push me inside it. I took screenshots, sent them to myself, deleted the evidence of transfer. Put his phone back exactly where it had been. Then I walked into the bathroom, locked the door, sat on the cold tile floor and pressed my fist against my mouth so I wouldn't scream. Because Lily was asleep down the hall, and Caleb was asleep in my bed. And the monster I married was planning to wake up tomorrow and kiss me like he wasn't designing my disappearance. But what he didn't know was this. Naomi Pierce had disappeared once before, years ago, in Los Angeles, under a different name. From a man far more dangerous than Caleb could ever dream of becoming, and if Caleb had known that part of my past, he would have left me alone. Before I became Naomi Pierce, wife, mother, founder, suburb woman with soft cardigans and clean kitchen counters, I was Naomi Hart, 23 years old, broke, angry, beautiful in the reckless way young women are beautiful when they don't yet understand what beauty attracts. I lived in Koreatown, Los Angeles, in a tiny apartment above a bakery that smelled like sugar in the morning and cigarettes at night. Back then, I worked at a private lounge where rich men came to hide their sins, politicians, actors, businessmen, men with wedding rings in their pockets and secrets in their mouths. That was where I first met Kang Seo-jun. He didn't enter rooms like other men wanted attention. Seo-jun made attention come to him, black suit, no tie, silver watch, calm face, 3 men behind him who never smiled. The room changed when he walked in. People lowered their voices, the owner straightened his back, even the drunk men sobered up. I didn't know who he was then, I just knew danger had a face. And that face was beautiful. He sat in the corner booth and watched everything, not like a predator searching for prey, like a king counting exits. I was sent to serve his table. My hand shook when I poured his drink. He noticed, of course he noticed. You're afraid, he said. His English was smooth, low, controlled. I lifted my chin. I'm careful. His mouth curved slightly. Good, fear wastes energy. Careful keeps you alive. That was Seo-jun. Every sentence sounded like advice and warning at the same time. For 3 months he came every Friday. For 3 months he asked for me, never touched me, never flirted cheaply, never made promises. He just watched, listened, and slowly learned me. He learned my mother was sick. He learned I was paying hospital bills. He learned I hated helplessness more than poverty. Then one night a drunk investor grabbed my wrist so hard I cried out. Before I could pull away, Seo-jun stood. That was all, he stood. The whole lounge went silent. The drunk man laughed. She yours, Seo-jun walked over slowly. No shouting, no drama, just quiet death in polished shoes. He looked at the man's hand on my wrist, then at his face. Release her. Man smirked. What? Seo-jun leaned close and whispered something I didn't hear. Whatever it was, the man's face drained of color. He let me go, apologized. Left the lounge 5 minutes later with 2 of Seo-jun's men. I never saw him again. That night, Seo-jun drove me home, not because I asked, because he decided. We sat in the back of his black car, Los Angeles glowing outside the tinted windows. You should not work there, he said. I need money. I can give you money. Not for sale. Looked at me then, really looked, and something in his eyes changed. I did not say buy you. No, men like you never say it directly. For the first time he laughed quietly, softly, like he had forgotten how. You are rude when scared. Rude all the time. Good, good, because polite women die quietly. That line stayed with me for years. Polite women die quietly. Maybe that's why I survived Caleb. Maybe that's why when my husband started calling me unstable, something old woke up inside me. Seo-jun and I became something people whispered about, not boyfriend and girlfriend, not exactly. It was deeper than romance and more dangerous than love. He protected me. I challenged him. He paid my mother's hospital bills without telling me. I found out and threw the receipt in his face. He said, "You can hate me after she lives." I hated him for that and loved him for it. But Seo-jun lived in a world where loyalty was law and blood was currency. I saw things I should not have seen. He did things I could not forgive. And when my mother died, I ran, no goodbye, no explanation. I left Lowe's Angels, changed my number, moved east, rebuilt myself, became
This
Naomi
city
Pierce.
has my heart, but
and I met
have to.
Caleb. Safe Caleb, normal Caleb.
It's the
Golden
hardest
boy
choice,
Caleb with his
but
church
it's mine.
smile and Harvard vocabulary. I chose him because he was everything Seo-jun was not, or so I thought. But there is a terrible truth women learn too late. Some monsters wear black suits and carry guns. Some monsters wear wedding rings and carry your medical records. And honestly, the second kind is harder to see coming. If you're still here, hit that like button because this is where Naomi's past and present are about to collide. And trust me, when Kang Seo-jun comes back into her life, Caleb's little plan becomes a suicide note. The next morning I started investigating, quietly, carefully, like Seo-jun once taught me without meaning to. First rule, never react in front of the enemy, so I smiled at Caleb over breakfast, packed Lily's lunch, let him kiss my cheek, let him call me baby, let him believe I was still blind. Then I drove to the private clinic listed in Maya's messages. Feldman Behavioral Health, glass building, soft lighting, expensive chairs, the kind of place that destroys people politely. At the front desk I gave my name, the receptionist smiled. "Mrs. Pierce, you're early for your appointment." Stomach tightened. My appointment. "Yes, Dr. Feldman has you scheduled for Tuesday at 11 a.m. Didn't schedule any appointment." Her smile flickered. "It says here your husband confirmed it." "Course he did." "Can I see what paperwork is already on file?" "Sorry, we can only release that after your evaluation." "My evaluation for what?" She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "Cognitive instability and possible delusional episodes." The words were soft, the violence was not. I walked out before I did something stupid. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and gripped the steering wheel until my nails hurt. Cognitive instability, delusional episodes, that was how he planned to do it. Not with a body bag, with a diagnosis, and the worst part, people would believe him. Because Caleb was calm, because Caleb was handsome, because Caleb volunteered at Lily's school, because Caleb knew how to look heartbroken when he lied. I drove next to my bank, then to my lawyer, then to my company accountant. By 4 p.m., I knew enough to understand I was in more danger than I thought. Caleb had opened 3 business credit lines in my name, moved $480,000 through shell accounts, forged my authorization on 2 asset transfers, and tried to change the beneficiary structure of my mother's trust. But the worst discovery came from my lawyer. A petition had already been drafted, emergency spousal guardianship. If approved, Caleb could temporarily control my financial and medical decisions. All he needed was Dr. Feldman's report, and one public incident to make me look unstable. That night Caleb arranged the incident. At Lily's school fundraiser in front of parents, teachers, donors, everyone, he waited until I was standing near the dessert table. Then he walked over, touched my arm and said loudly, "Naomi, did you take your medication today?" I turned slowly. "What medication?" His face filled with fake concern. "Baby, please don't do this here." Started looking. "Do what?" He lowered his voice, but not enough. "You've been confused again." Heart began pounding. "Not from guilt, from rage." "Caleb," I said carefully, "stop." Looked around with embarrassed sadness. "I'm sorry, everyone, she's been under a lot of stress." Friend Tessa stepped closer. "Naomi, are you okay?" Caleb answered for me. "She's fine, she just needs rest." I stared at him and I understood this was the scene, this was the public incident. If I yelled, he won. If I cried, he won. If I slapped him, he won. So I smiled, a small, cold smile. "I'm perfectly fine," I said. Then I looked him dead in the eyes. "But my husband seems very committed to convincing people otherwise." His jaw tightened, only for a second, but I saw it. Later that night he drove us home in silence. Lily fell asleep in the back seat. When we pulled into the driveway, Caleb turned off the engine but didn't move. "You embarrassed me tonight," he said. I laughed softly. "That was my mistake." His head turned. "What's funny? You tried to humiliate me in public and somehow I embarrassed you." His voice went low. "You need help, Naomi." "No, Caleb, I need a lawyer." His eyes changed. There he was, the real man, not husband, not father, not protector, enemy. "You don't want to fight me," he said. I leaned closer. "No, you don't want me to stop pretending I don't know." For 3 seconds neither of us moved, then he smiled. "You have no idea how bad this can get." I smiled back. neither do you. Didn't know that by sunrise I would make the call that would bring Lowe's angels to Boston, the call that would wake up the ghost I left behind, the call that would make Caleb Pierce regret ever learning my signature. I waited until Caleb left the next morning, then I locked every door, closed every curtain, sat at my kitchen table with my phone in front of me like it was a loaded weapon. Kang Seo-jun's number was not saved anymore, I had deleted it years ago. But some numbers live in the body. Your fingers remember what your pride forgets. I typed slowly, one digit, then another, then another. My hands were steady until I reached the last number, then they shook. Because calling Seo-jun meant opening a door I had nailed shut. It meant admitting the safe life I chose had become more dangerous than the dangerous life I left. It meant letting him hear my voice after 12 years of silence. I pressed call, 1 ring, 2, 3, then a click, no hello, just breathing. I almost hung up, then his voice came through, older, lower, still him. Naomi. My eyes closed. He knew. After 12 years, new number, new life, new state. He knew. How I told you once, he said. If you disappeared from the world, I would still know when you were afraid. I hated that my eyes burned. Not afraid. Only lie badly when you are. Silence, then he asked, are you hurt? I swallowed. Not yet. The line went still. When he spoke again, the softness was gone. Who? My husband. A pause, not shock, calculation. What did he do? He's trying to have me declared mentally unstable. He forged documents, stole money. He's trying to take my daughter. I heard a sound, not anger, worse, control tightening. Name, Caleb Pierce. Pause, then give me 48 hours. No, I don't need you to destroy him illegally, Seo-jun. I need information, evidence, I need him exposed. You call me after 12 years and give instructions. Yes, quiet, then that low laugh I remembered too well. You are still rude when scared. Rude all the time. I remember. For one unbearable second, neither of us spoke. Then he said, I am coming to Boston. No, you're not. I am already standing. Seo-jun, Naomi, one word and I stopped. You said he is trying to bury you. Throat tightened. Yes, then I will bring a shovel. He hung up. I sat there staring at the phone. And for the first time since I found Caleb's messages, I breathed, not because I was safe, but because now my enemy had an enemy. By noon, things began happening, small things at first. My accountant called. Naomi, did you hire a forensic financial team? No. Well, someone just sent us a secure request with authorization from attorney Min and Associates. I froze. Min and Associates, Seo-jun's people. Then my lawyer called. Naomi, a private investigator, delivered documents to my office. Caleb's shell companies, bank movements, property records. Whoever sent this is very good. I know. Good, dangerously. By 3 p.m. I received an encrypted email, no subject, just attachments. Photos of Caleb entering an apartment building in Chicago. Photos of Maya kissing him in an underground parking garage. Photos of Caleb meeting Dr. Feldman at a private golf club. Bank records, flight records, audio transcripts. And one video, I clicked it. Caleb sat across from Dr. Feldman in a restaurant booth. His voice was clear. She doesn't need to actually be crazy. I just need enough concern on paper to freeze her decisions temporarily. Feldman leaned back. That kind of report is risky. Slid an envelope across the table. Risk pays well. I stared at the screen. There it was, proof, real proof. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered. Seo-jun, did you watch? Yes, good. Did you get this? You asked for evidence. That's not an answer. It is the only answer you need. I rubbed my forehead. Seo-jun, listen to me. I want him in prison, not dead. Then I know the difference. Do you? Another pause, then softer. For you I will remember. That sentence did something to me, something dangerous, because Caleb had spent months making me feel powerless, and Seo-jun with one phone call made me remember I had teeth. That evening Caleb came home with flowers, white roses, my mother's favorite, that made me hate him more. He walked into the kitchen smiling, peace offering. I looked at the flowers, then at him. For what? For last night. I know things got tense. Worry about you, Naomi. It was again that fake concern. I took the flowers and placed them in the sink, then turned on the garbage disposal. The roses twisted, shredded, disappeared. Caleb stared. I smiled. Thank you. His jaw flexed. You think this is funny? No, I stepped closer. I think you should be careful. His eyes narrowed. Careful of what? Paper cuts. Didn't understand, not yet, but he would. The next day, Seo-jun arrived in Boston, not dramatically. No loud cars, no public entrance. Just a black SUV outside my office building and a text. Outside, I stood at my window and saw him. 12 years older, sharper, more controlled, black coat, black gloves, hair brushed back. Face calm enough to frighten God. 2 men stood near the SUV. One opened the door. Seo-jun looked up at my window like he knew exactly where I stood. My breath caught. I hated that he still had that effect. I went downstairs. The lobby felt colder when he entered. People noticed him without knowing why. He stopped in front of me. For a second the years were gone. Lowe's angels rain, his hand around mine, his voice telling me careful keeps you alive. Then he looked at my face, really looked. His expression did not change, but his eyes darkened. He made you tired. I almost broke right there, not because he said I looked beautiful, not because he said he missed me, because he saw the exhaustion Caleb had hidden under makeup and smiles. I'm fine, I said. No, he stepped closer. You are standing, that is not the same thing. I looked away. Do that. Do what? See me? His voice softened. I never stopped. This were a romance I would have fallen into his arms, but this was not romance, this was war, so I straightened my back. I need Caleb exposed publicly, legally, completely. Seo-jun nodded, then we let him walk into his own knife. I stared. What does that mean? It means we give him what he wants. No, yes, he wants control over me. Seo-jun's eyes were cold. Then we let him think he has it. That was the plan. Dangerous, brilliant, terrifying. Caleb needed one final incident to make his guardianship petition believable. So we would give him one, but not the one he expected. We would let him invite the doctor, let him call the lawyer, let him gather witnesses, let him stand in front of everyone and say I was unstable. Then we would open the floor beneath his feet. If this is getting intense, subscribe now, because Chapter 4 is where Naomi stops defending herself and starts setting traps. And Caleb. Caleb is about to smile his way into the worst day of his life. Caleb planned the dinner himself, that was the beautiful part. He thought it was his idea. He invited my closest friends, my lawyer, his lawyer, Dr. Feldman, 2 board members from my company, even my pastor and his wife. He said it was an intervention. A loving family intervention. He said he wanted support around me. He said he wanted everyone to help me accept treatment. Treatment, that word tasted like bleach. He stood in our bedroom that afternoon adjusting his cufflinks. You don't have to be embarrassed tonight, he said. I sat at the vanity brushing my hair. Loves you, they just want you well. I looked at him in the mirror. And you? He came behind me, placed his hands on my shoulders and kissed the top of my head. I want my wife back. I smiled. She's coming tonight. Didn't hear the warning. Men like Caleb never do. They mistake calm women for defeated women. At 7 p.m. the house was full, soft jazz played, candles burned, wine was poured. Everyone spoke in gentle voices. The way people speak around a person they have already decided is fragile. I moved through the room like a ghost at my own funeral. Tessa hugged me too tightly. Pastor Elaine touched my arm and said, "We're praying for clarity, Doctor." Feldman smiled like a man who had already spent the money. Maya arrived last. Yes, Maya. Caleb introduced her as a wellness consultant. She was tall, elegant, wearing cream silk and a face full of fake sympathy. When she saw me, her eyes flickered with victory. She thought she was about to watch Caleb take my life apart. I smiled at her. Beautiful dress. She blinked. Thank you. Caleb has expensive taste. Her smile died good. At 7:45 Caleb tapped his glass. The room quieted. He stood near the fireplace, handsome and tragic, perfect lighting, perfect audience, perfect lie. Thank you all for coming, he began. This isn't easy. Course, he looked down, paused, let emotion gather. Caleb could have been an actor if evil didn't pay better. Wife Naomi has been struggling for some time. Shifted, I sat on the sofa, hands folded, face calm. She's been forgetting things, becoming paranoid, accusing me of things that never happened. Tessa looked at me, I gave her nothing. Caleb continued. I tried to handle it privately because I love her. But last week she threatened me. She became aggressive, she destroyed flowers I brought her. She has been making wild claims about fraud, affairs, conspiracies. Maya lowered her eyes. Dr. Feldman nodded solemnly. My lawyer watched carefully. Caleb took a shaky breath. Tonight, with love, I'm asking Naomi to voluntarily accept psychiatric evaluation and temporary care. It was the cage, wrapped in concern. He turned to me. Baby, please, let us help you. The room waited. This was my cue to cry, to deny, to yell, to look unstable. Instead, I stood, smoothed my black dress, and smiled. Of course. Blinked, the whole room blinked. I looked at Dr. Feldman. I'll accept an evaluation. His face brightened with relief. Too soon. But not from him. Feldman stiffened. I lifted the remote from the coffee table and turned on the television. The screen lit up. Caleb's face appeared. Restaurant booth envelope. Dr. Feldman. She doesn't need to actually be crazy. The room went silent, not quiet, silent, the kind of silence that has weight. Caleb's mouth opened. Dr. Feldman stood. That recording is illegal. Lawyer spoke calmly. Actually, Massachusetts law may complicate parts of that, but the financial documents and sworn investigator report do not depend on the audio alone. Turned grey, I clicked again. Bank transfers, forged signatures, shell companies, Maya's apartment lease, photos, messages, the psychiatric petition, everything one by one on the big screen in front of everyone. The intervention became a trial. Caleb stumbled forward. Naomi, baby, this isn't. Don't call me baby. Voice cracked across the room like a whip. He stopped. I turned to Maya. How long did he tell you I was sick? She swallowed. I don't know what you mean. I clicked the remote again. Her text appeared. Maya, once she's committed, do we move into the house or sell it? Gasps. Tessa whispered. Oh my God. Elaine covered her mouth. Maya stood. I'm leaving. The front door opened. 2 security men stepped in, not police. Seojun's men, quiet, polite. Unmovable, I looked at Maya. Sit down. She sat. Caleb looked around, panicking now. Real panic, beautiful panic. Who are those men? A voice answered from the hallway. Mine. Every head turned. Kang Seojun stepped into my living room, black suit, dark coat, no expression. The temperature of the room seemed to drop 10 degrees. Caleb stared at him. Who the hell are you? Seojun looked at him the way a lion might look at a goat making noise. No one you should have invited into your life. Laughed nervously. Naomi, what is this? You brought some thug into our home. Seojun's eyes moved to me. May I? I knew what he was asking, permission. Even now, even with all his darkness, he asked. I nodded once. Seojun walked toward Caleb slowly. Caleb backed up before he realized he was backing up. That made me smile. Seojun stopped inches from him. You forged her name. Swallowed. I don't know what she told you. You tried to take her child. I was protecting Lily. You paid a doctor to cage her. That is not. Seojun leaned closer. You touched what was never yours. Face twisted. Your woman left you 12 years ago, didn't she? The room froze. Seojun did not move. Caleb smiled, thinking he had found blood. Oh, I see it now. You're the old boyfriend, the dangerous one, the mistake she ran from. Caleb, I warned, but Caleb was desperate now, and desperate men become stupid men. He turned to the room. See, this proves my point. My wife is unstable. She's bringing criminals into our house now. Seojun smiled, barely. It was the first time Caleb looked truly afraid. Then Seojun said, your accounts are frozen. Blinked. What? Your shell companies are under federal review. Caleb's lips parted. Your doctor has already been reported. Feldman sat down heavily. Mistress's lease, your offshore transfers, your petition, your forged signatures, your private emails, everything has been delivered to the people who enjoy making men like you disappear legally. Whispered, you can't do that. Seojun looked bored. I did it before dinner. Lawyer cleared his throat. Naomi, the authorities are outside. Spun toward me. Authorities? I stepped closer. Yes, Caleb, police, federal agents, Financial Crimes Division. Maya started crying. Dr. Feldman put his head in his hands. Caleb's face collapsed, but only for a second. Then something ugly rose behind his eyes. He lunged toward me. Seojun moved faster than anyone in the room could react. He caught Caleb by the wrist and twisted just enough to stop him. Not enough to break, enough to promise he could. Caleb gasped. Seojun's voice was almost gentle. Front of witnesses, he released him. The front door opened again. This time, real officers entered. Caleb Pierce. Caleb looked at me. The charm was gone. The husband was gone. Only hatred remained. You think you won? I held his stare. I think you lost. They cuffed him in my living room in front of his mistress, his doctor, my friends, my pastor, my company board, and the Korean Mafia Boss he should never have forced me to call. As they dragged him out, he screamed, this isn't over, Naomi. Seojun watched him go, then said quietly, he is right. I turned to him. What? Seojun's face was unreadable. This was too easy. Stomach dropped. What are you saying? He looked toward the door. I am saying your husband is not smart enough to build all this alone. That was when my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered slowly. A woman's voice came through, calm, older, smiling. Hello, Naomi, you don't know me yet. Blood went cold. But your mother did. The line went dead. I didn't sleep that night, not 1 minute. Caleb was in custody. Maya was exposed. Dr. Feldman was finished. My friends knew the truth. My company board had backed me publicly. By every normal measure, I had won. But Seojun's words kept moving through my head. This was too easy. And then that phone call, you don't know me yet. But your mother did, my mother. The woman who built Pierce Wellness from nothing. The woman who raised me alone. The woman who warned me before she died. Naomi, never trust anyone who is too eager to manage your pain. Back then I thought she was talking about grief. Now I wondered if she had been trying to warn me about something else. At 3:22 a.m. I found the key. I was in my mother's old storage room, tearing through boxes I hadn't opened in years when a small black envelope slipped out of her Bible. My name was written on it, Naomi, not in her handwriting, in Korean. My breath stopped. Inside was a key, small, silver, and a note, if they come for what I hid, call the man from Lowe's Angels. I sat down on the floor, the room tilted, the man from Lowe's Angels, Seojun. My mother knew about Seojun. No, impossible. I grabbed my phone and called him. He answered on the first ring. Did you find something? That was not the question of a surprised man. I stood slowly. What did my mother hide? Silence. Seojun. Pause. Then I am coming. No, you're answering me now. His voice lowered. Your mother trusted me with something before she died. Chest tightened. What thing? The reason Caleb married you. The room went quiet around me, not physically, spiritually, as if the walls themselves were listening. What does that mean? It means this was never just about your company. I looked at the key in my palm. What was it about? Seo-jun exhaled. Ledger. A what? A financial ledger connected to people more powerful than Caleb. Politicians, judges, private hospital networks. Offshore medical fraud. Your mother found it years ago. Mouth went dry. Mother was a wellness CEO. Your mother was a woman who knew how to read dirty money. I sank onto a box. She never told me. She wanted you clean. I laughed once, bitter and broken. Clean? My husband just tried to put me in a psychiatric hospital. And that was the soft plan. I stopped breathing. What was the hard plan? Seo-jun did not answer. That silence answered for him. My stomach turned. Then he said, Naomi, listen carefully. Do not open anything else alone. Do not go outside. Do not let Lily out of your sight. Heart slammed. If the woman on the phone knows you found the key, Caleb's arrest does not protect you anymore. A sound came from downstairs, soft, almost nothing, wood creaking. My whole body froze. Seo-jun, I whispered. He heard it in my voice. What happened? Another sound, a drawer closing. Someone was inside my house. I stood slowly, still holding the phone. Naomi, Seo-jun said, voice sharp now. Where is Lily? My blood turned to ice. Lily. I ran out of the storage room, down the hall, bare feet hitting wood. I pushed open Lily's bedroom door. Her bed was empty. For 1 second my mind refused to understand. Pink blanket thrown back, stuffed rabbit on the floor, window open, cold air blowing the curtains inward, empty. My daughter was gone. I screamed her name. Lily, Seo-jun's voice roared through the phone. Naomi. I couldn't answer. I couldn't breathe. I ran downstairs, calling her name again and again. Then I saw it on the kitchen island, a white envelope, my name written across the front, this time in Caleb's handwriting. My hands shook so badly I almost tore it opening. Inside was a photograph, Lily, sitting in the back seat of a car, crying, holding her stuffed rabbit. Behind the photo was one sentence, you exposed Caleb, now bring us what your mother stole. My knees gave out. The phone slipped from my hand. Seo-jun's voice came from the floor, distant and furious. Naomi, answer me. I picked it up with shaking fingers. They took her, I whispered. Silence. Then Seo-jun said something in Korean to someone near him, fast, cold, deadly. When he came back to me, his voice was no longer the voice of the man who once loved me. It was the voice of the man Lo's angels feared. Naomi. I could barely speak. To me carefully. I pressed the photograph to my chest. I'm listening. They made one mistake. What? Seo-jun's voice dropped. They took your daughter while I was in the same city. That was when I heard sirens in the distance, not police sirens, too many engines, too fast, too organized, coming toward my house. Seo-jun said, part 1 of your revenge is over. Then his black SUV turned into my driveway, followed by 6 more. And now mine begins. You want part 2? Drop bring Lily back in the comments right now, because Caleb was only the husband, he was never the mastermind. Like this story, subscribe, and share it with someone who loves revenge stories with power, betrayal, and dangerous secrets. I'm Sally's Mafia Romance, and I'll see you in the next story, if Naomi survives what's coming.